Welcome back to This Garden Bliss. And if you're new to our channel, my name is David, and we're going to take you back to the day that we planted all these tulips. Of course, the actual bulbs are not individually marked, and it's a real gamble of specific colors that you get, because nobody's going to take a little Sharpie and mark each individual bulb. So it's a real color palette that you see. It comes up in the garden year after year. Of course, this is where my wife comes in because I don't do the planning, and my wife is Claudia.
Hi everybody, today is a beautiful day. It is spring, and this season our spring have been slow and cool.
And windy.
But I love tulips, and there's no guesswork in the colors, because the colors that we chose last fall, those are the colors that we love, the purples, the whites, the soft yellow. We don't need to take them apart. However, you can purchase tulips with just one
color.
single
Yeah.
color. So the pictures that we're seeing here, we're taking you back. Last fall, we put them in a container. We wanted this container to be placed in the spring for a Easter display or for just general spring display. So we planted them in this shallow container, left them in a cool, dark place. For us, that was the studio. For you, it could be just a garage. Then in February, we placed them in the greenhouse, and within a few weeks, we had some really substantial growth here.
Right. Yeah.
And as the season progressed, there was no heat in the greenhouse, and this allowed for strong, sturdy growth of these tulips instead of leggy growth. So by the time we got to the end of February, going into March, mid-March, they looked like this.
And they're strong. They're stronger than...
Yes, and I didn't exactly know or expect them to start blooming. So I've never done this before, where I've, specifically placed them in a container. So I wasn't expecting within just a few weeks between February and March to see buds. And so when that happened in the greenhouse, I thought I need to take them out, even though it was just natural warmth in the greenhouse. I'm going to take them out now, and they were ready for an outdoor environment.
I like the greenhouse because there's no critters or anything digging up the bulbs. We have a lot of them running around the yard, and they're just as hungry in the spring. So they're protected in the greenhouse.
And that's a plus.
Oh, yeah.
That's a plus. So, yes, you do have, when the tulips are placed in the garden bed, you have that element to worry about.
Oh, look at that. Coming up, I can see them now.
So I took them out to the front porch, and I've removed the Christmas decorations, but I'm keeping some of my evergreens. We have a blue spruce that we trimmed in the winter, and we placed them among all the Christmas decorations. But now that it's spring, I'm going to remove them from the large container by the garage, by the front porch. I am going to leave in the birch branches, the birch barks, and the birch trunks. I have 3 in there. And with my container, with the tulips in it, I am going to place the entire container inside the larger container.
Inside this container, so you don't have to add vermiculite or anything to the larger container because you already have it in the small.
I have it in the small, but what I'm going to do in the middle of this large container, I'm going to remove some of the soil, a little hole, just move away some of the hole.
Yeah, doing right now.
And I'm just making a place for the container in the middle. Right? And so now this is still early March, and it's still quite cool. And what I'm going to do is to take the entire display of tulips that's just about to bud and place it right in the middle of this container,
And there
just like that.
Just like that. Yep. So as a process, you're not removing anything out of the original container. You're actually inserting it inside a larger container, raising it higher off the ground and giving it more of a height for viewing, a vantage point, if you will.
Well, the real reason why I put a container in a container, remember the season is just beginning, right?
Right.
And what am I going to do next? What season is coming
Well,
next?
you'll take it out of the container and put it in the garden.
No.
Oh,
The double container allows for easy transition from a spring container
to a
into a summer container.
okay. And what do you do with
By
it?
removing the container with just tulips, that gets set aside to be dried out and get ready for the winter season again, while the container is now available for my summer display.
Okay. So like all plants, it has a process.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good to me because I just watch and enjoy what she's doing. And you're backfilling here. You're
I'm
adding,
backfilling to hide the container.
right. Yeah.
And to prepare the surface for the pansies that are coming.
Right.
So I don't want the container to be visible, but at the same time, I want it to have easy access to it, so as the weather warms up, I can just take those tulips out and put my summer flowers in.
Is this the only large container we have? Has a container within a container?
I have that containers throughout the garden, throughout the different garden rooms with the same concepts. Sometimes I'm using a container within a container just to line it and protect the decorative container.
Yeah, and there's no digging required.
Yeah.
Well, here you are, more backfilling on
I'm
the side.
backfilling sturdy, getting the birch trunk sturdy, and so I keep them in those birch trunks in until summer. Then I transition in my spheres and decorate with those.
And with those, they're repurposed from a tree that we had. Why go out and buy when you could just repurpose the stuff that you have already? And they've been around
For a very long time.
For a long time. Yeah.
I treated them, and then I keep them in good shape, dry them out in the summer, and keep them from getting moldy, and you only use them a half a season. So now the container, right? The one that is inserted in the center, have those tulips in the middle, and now I am going to be adding in some water and watering it right in for moisture.
Sounds good.
There are a lot of advantages to container gardening. It allows you to extend the garden season throughout all 4 seasons.
You bring them inside.
Bringing them inside for overwintering, but I'm referring to gardening outside. Container gardening allows you to garden and put interest
In places that don't usually have an interest, like the driveway.
The driveway is a perfect example. You can't really grow anything
On concrete.
on a concrete driveway, but you could put beautiful large containers with a variety of different spring flowers, summer, fall display, and winter display.
Large and small.
Yeah.
Especially around the waterfall we've done year after year, how you've tiered it up from ground to top.
Yeah.
Right. And then surround that with rocks to hide the containers themselves.
So
Yes.
now at this point, the tulips have been taken from the studio, dark, cool place for 3 months to the greenhouse for another month. And now this is the end of March. We're now looking at currently the first week in April.
Just coming up.
Their bloom, the blooms are visible, the colors are visible, and it's now gone through the full process. Very happy with the length of the stems. They are not leggy. They are strong foliage and stems. So now at this point, I'm going to remove the evergreen, most of the evergreen, and going to now put in the pansies because we've progressed from very cool to more moderately cool. We garden in zone 5B/6. So all these pansies are cool weather flowers. They love the cool weather, and I love pansies. I love planting the icicle pansies in the fall. I couldn't find any last fall.
That's right.
But they are wonderful to have in the container in the spring. So they were planted up around these tulips as they started to bud and produce magnificent color. They look exactly like the picture in the packaging. And so I think this was very successful planting. Because yes, sometimes you do get bulbs and you're not quite sure how they're going to perform as far as the colors are concerned. Will they look exactly like the package? And so yes, they did. So here we're showing you my color scheme is usually blue, purple, pink, yellow, soft yellow, for the spring display in our containers. Spring is such a wonderful time of the year. For me, it brings me a lot of joy.
And this is the railing basket that we put in a couple years ago.
And so again, we've put in some tulips in there. We're looking at the hostas that I leave in containers throughout the winter months. They're not protected. They're left outside in the garden bed or in a protected area in the corner of the garden, and then they're grown for foliage around the water fountain.
Those are pretty. And you've got a little magnolia stick stuck in the dirt here.
Yes, I trimmed some branches off the magnolia and it started blooming.
Join us in May when you will see all the other tulips in bloom in the garden. Well, thank you for watching this video. Please join us again in the next one, and see you soon.